Hello everybody, welcome to Totally Tabled. My name is Shaggy, and today I'm doing a playthrough of A Carnivore Did It. Now here's the cool thing, you can play along with me at home, because this is a game of simple logical deduction. The box has 10 minutes to play, but you can really play this for as little or as much time as you want. The easiest way to explain it is just to show you how it works. Now we're going to play as detectives trying to solve a mystery, right? Trying to identify who did it. And the game literally comes with 2,000 cases. Each of these cards is a dossier, and each contains 50 cases on the front side and 50 on the back. And there's 20 of these sheets, and they get harder as you go along. Now there's lots of different ways you could play these. You could play these with like a campaign, or you can even play them competitively against each other to see like who can solve them faster. You can time yourself to get like 1, 2, or 3 stars, and kind of like a mobile game. There's all sorts of different things you can do. We're just gonna be playing on the open case mode where you just pick any of these that you want and you just try to solve it. Let's start with the first dossier. Now at both the top and the bottom of the card, it shows you some information, and this is basically pretty vital. The first number there is how many suspects there are. In this case, there's 3 suspects, so we go to the suspect cards and we just take number 1, 2, and 3. The next number shows the number of culprits. So in this case, only one of these suspects is guilty. And that last number with the X is showing that one of the suspects is going to be lying. That's all the information that we have. We know that one of them is going to be lying. We now take this, which they call a magnifying glass, and we're going to fit it on top of the dossier. You can see. There we go, just like that. We can now move this to highlight any of the cases that we want. Let's just do the very first case, just to show how this works. You want to place your suspects in a little bit of a circle in numerical order. So we have suspect 1, 2, and 3. And then you want to dig through this 50 card deck and get the numbered cards that are shown there. So we have 31. Number 2. And number 10. And you want to make sure that you place them in order. So the first number goes to suspect 1, the second number goes to suspect 2, etc. Each of these cards is going to be a statement that the suspect is making, and they could either be telling the truth or lying. We know that in this case, there's going to be one suspect lying and the other 2 are going to be telling the truth. And from those statements, we need to logically deduce who the culprit is. And the culprit could be lying or telling the truth. So let's flip them over and see what they're saying. The panther is saying that someone taller than 190 centimeters did it. The peacock is saying, I didn't do it. And the shark is saying that the peacock is lying. So if you want to play along, just go ahead and pause the video right now and try to figure out who you think is the culprit. Okay, now I'm going to give it a go. Okay, so if the shark is telling the truth, then the peacock is lying, which means the peacock did it. But if the shark is lying, then the peacock is telling the truth, and the peacock didn't do it. Either way, that means the panther has to be telling the truth. So that means someone taller than 190 centimeters did do it, and there's only one person like that, and that's the shark. So in this case, we had a very easy one. We believe that the shark is the culprit. So now what we do is we look on the back of our dossier. We keep the magnifying glass right where it is. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. It's very small, but on the back there, I can see a 3. So that means suspect 3 is guilty, the shark is guilty, we were right. Now, if we were timing ourselves, we easily figured it out in under 2 minutes, so we would get 3 stars. If it takes you 4 minutes to do it, you can get 2 stars, and if it takes 8 minutes, then that's 1 star. But again, you don't have to play with the timing if you don't want to. You can just try to figure them out. How about we skip to a harder one? And I got some dice here so we can sort of pick a random one on here, at least up to number 24. Okay, so that's 5, 11, 14. So let's try number 14. Here we need 7, 35, and 1. Same rules apply. 1 culprit, 1 person's lying. Each of the dossiers has a different set of rules. You know, more suspects, maybe more culprits, maybe a different conditions for how many people are lying or not. Don't worry, we'll try one of the really hard ones here in a second. Okay, the Panther. Peacock didn't do it. An herbivore did it. I did it. Okay, that'd be an interesting thing to be lying about. Now, obviously, there's icons here that show whether, you know, you're a carnivore or an omnivore or herbivore. So once again, if you want to play along, pause, see if you can figure it out for yourself, and then come back. Okay, so once again, we have a weird situation where the peacock is saying an herbivore did it. They're the only herbivore. So basically, both of them are saying that they did it. That means one of them must be lying, which means the panther is telling the truth, which means the peacock didn't do it, which means that once again, the shark is the guilty party. Let's turn it around and see if we're right. Again, you probably can't see that, but yes, indeed. That is a 3, so once again, the shark is guilty. Okay, these are definitely far too easy, so let's take that off. Let's see if we can handle something like this. Dossier number 7. We're now going to have 5 suspects, 1 actual culprit, but look at this. We could have either 1 or 2 lies, and we don't know. It could be 1, could be 2. That's going to make it much more difficult. So let's bring in suspects 4 and 5. Let's try to make a little circle here. Excuse me while I get this set up as best as I can. Here we go. That should work. We'll just start with the first one here. Make sure we're not in over our heads. So the panther is getting number 2. Number 1. 30. 31. And then 7. So we've had a lot of these numbers already, but let's see how it goes. Panther didn't do it. Peacock says they did it. Shark says someone taller than 175 centimeters did it. The iguana is saying that someone taller than 190 centimeters did it. And the dog is saying that the peacock didn't do it. Okay, so once again, pause, see what you get. So we know that there's either 1 or 2 lies, and we know that the dog and the peacock are disagreeing with each other. So one of them has to be telling the truth, and one of them has to be lying. If the peacock did it, they are only 169 centimeters tall. So that means the shark would be lying, and the iguana would be lying, and the dog would be lying. So that would be 3 lies, and we know there can be a maximum of 2. So that means that the peacock definitely didn't do it. They're lying, which means there's 1 other liar. That rules out the iguana for sure, because then they would both be lying. It also rules out the panther, because if they did it, then they would be lying, And the iguana would be lying because they say it's someone taller than 190. If the dog did it, then the iguana would be lying. But the shark would be telling the truth and the panther would be telling the truth. So that would just be 2 lies. So the dog could have done it. And it seems like the shark could have done it as well, right? Because they would be telling the truth. They would be telling the truth. They would be telling the truth. So we'd have 1 liar, but that would be allowed. So how do we tell between the shark and the dog who did it? Oh no, I'm sorry. I misread the dog's height. It's 173. Sorry, it was written very lightly there and I couldn't see it. So it can't be the dog because then they would both be lying. Same logic. So we actually know it has to be the shark. This is crazy. Is it always the shark? Let's see if we're right. And yes, indeed. Number 3, the shark. Okay, so that wasn't so bad. How about we try one more really hard one and see just how bad it can get. Here we go. I've set up a random case. We are on dossier 15, case 68. We have 6 suspects, we have 2 culprits, and there's going to be exactly 3 truths. Whoa, the tallest liar is a culprit. Wow. Panther did it. Horse is lying. Someone taller than 175 centimeters did it. A carnivore did it. Someone taller than 90 centimeters did it. Oh, right. So go ahead, pause, see if you can figure out who the 2 culprits are. Where do we even start? Okay. The horse is saying that someone taller than 190 centimeters did it. That's just him and the shark. And the horse is lying, the shark says, which would mean that it wouldn't be them. Now, it looks like we have 3 carnivores and 3 herbivores. So the dog is saying that either the panther or him or the shark did it. But this is interesting. The panther's saying that the tallest liar is a culprit. So if the horse was lying, then that would mean that someone taller than 90 centimeters didn't do it. And yet the panther would be saying that he did do it. So if the horse is lying, then the panther must also be lying. Wow, this is immediately more complicated. Okay, let's start with the shark. If the shark is telling the truth and the horse is lying... Oh, wow. This is really tricky. Okay, I'm going to approach this from a different angle. If the peacock is telling the truth and the panther did it, then that means that the dog is also telling the truth. Oh, but does this apply to both culprits? Someone taller than 175 did it. Does that apply to both culprits? Let me check the rules real quick. Oh, here we go. In the case with multiple culprits, some statements only need to refer to at least one of them to be considered true. An herbivore did it is true if at least one of the culprits is an herbivore. So these height ones just have to refer to one of the culprits, not both. That's interesting. So we don't know if this is a lie or a truth if the panther did it because there's another culprit and they could be talking about the other culprit. But if the panther is guilty, then the peacock is telling the truth, the dog is telling the truth, and there just have to be one more telling the truth. Ah, and if the shark is telling the truth, then the horse would be lying, panther would have to be lying, and then you would need the iguana to also be lying, which would mean the iguana, the peacock, or the dog could be the other suspect. So that would be 3 truths and 3 lies, and it would be the panther and then either the dog, peacock, or iguana. But I'm not sure how you would tell who the other culprit would be. So that can't be the answer, I guess. Ooh, having 2 culprits makes this really tricky. Okay, so maybe let's go back, and if the shark is lying in that case. So the dog's telling the truth, the peacock's telling the truth, the panther is one of the culprits, but now the shark is lying, which means the horse is telling the truth. And those would be our three truths. So that would mean that the shark is lying, the panther is lying, and the iguana is lying. And the horse is saying someone taller than 90 centimeters did it, which wouldn't be the panther. So that would mean it's either the panther and the shark or the panther and the horse. But that's what I'm saying. That can't be, because then the iguana would be telling the truth. So that can't be the case. If the horse is telling the truth, then the iguana is also telling the truth. And if those two are telling the truth, then it means the shark is lying. It also means that the peacock can't be telling the truth, because if the peacock is telling the truth, then the dog is also telling the truth. So it cannot be the case that the peacock is telling the truth and the horse is telling the truth. That cannot be the case. I don't know if I'm following my own logic at this point. I'm not writing anything down. I'm trying to do this in my head. But I think that's true. So that means that either the peacock is lying or the horse is lying. Now, they could both be lying. So I guess that's also something that could happen. Oh, boy. Okay. I'm starting to think the panther didn't do it, which means the peacock would be lying. If the horse is telling the truth, shark's lying. Iguana's telling the truth. So this could be true, true, lie, lie. Ah, and then if the panther is telling the truth, that would give the shark as a culprit, which would be a carnivore, which means the dog would also be telling the truth. And that's too many truths. So the panther is also lying. Let's try this out. Lie, 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 true, true, true. But then the tallest culprit couldn't be a culprit. So that would mean the shark is not a culprit, and that would mean that the horse would be a culprit if the horse is telling the truth. And then if a carnivore did it, and it couldn't be a panther because the peacock's lying, and it couldn't be the shark because the panther is lying, then the only other carnivore is the dog. Ooh. So I'm feeling liar, 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 truth, truth, truth. Horse and dog are the culprit. Right? That means that the tallest liar is not a culprit. The panther didn't do it. And the horse is not lying. The horse is telling the truth. Someone taller than 90 and someone taller than 45 did do it because that's the horse. And then a carnivore did do it because it's the dog. There we go. 5 and 6, horse and dog. I have no idea if that's right. Let's find out. And there we go. Dog and horse, 5 and 6. That is the answer. Wow. Okay, we got there in the end, but that took a little while longer than... Maybe I got it in 10 minutes? I don't know. I didn't really time that, but probably not. There was also probably an easier, logical way of going through that than what I just did. But hey, we got the right answer. We caught the culprits. That's all that matters. And there you have it. That is A Carnivore Did It. If you enjoy these kinds of logic puzzle style games, then you got 2,000 that you can go through here. You can, of course, play it cooperatively, like everyone working together to come up with a solution, or there's even ways of doing it competitively where you're, timing each other and trying to get the best time, stuff like that, or setting a certain amount of time and everyone has to write an answer by the end of that time. There's all different sorts of ways you can do it. You can even play a campaign where you do 8 of these in a row, going through different dossiers that get harder and harder, and then calculating your final score. But there you go. That is all for me. I'd like to thank all of the financial supporters of Totally Tabled, including the totally radical Dr. Casey, Hextra, Mitch Fisher, John Kohler, Scott Myers, and Jay Satterwhite, as well as the totally bodacious Mark Spitzig. If you're interested in becoming a member, you can join on YouTube or my Patreon at www.patreon.com/totallytabled. You'll gain access to my new exclusive podcast, Table Talk, as well as unboxing videos and whatever extra stuff I come up with. As always, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.